Hello, Narnach here. Welcome to the start of a brand new series. This is Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn is an action RPG. More or less a spiritual successor to Titan Quest, if you remember that golden olden. It's made by a bunch of the same developers who went on to form a new studio called Creative Entertainment. And it's a nice game. It's been in the making for a while, for years now actually. They did a self-funded Kickstarter thing before Kickstarter existed. They did a Kickstarter after that, and these days they are on Steam Early Access. They are up to beta number 27. They really like to incrementally develop their game, and it's going good. They got 6 classes, 4 acts, and if you look at the class selection window, there might even be room for a 7th class. But I'm gonna stop yammering now and let's create a new character. So this game has hardcore and softcore modes enabled. But I found that the game is pretty difficult, and the difficulty, it tends to spike in places where you don't expect it. And since I actually haven't finished the entire game yet, and I know the developers aren't done developing it yet, I'm gonna hold off on hardcore for now for this let's play and just play a softcore game. And we're gonna dive straight in. So your character creation, you have 2 choices, male and female, and besides that hardcore and softcore, and those are all the choices. All the other choices for your character development are made in the game. So we wake up here in this warding circle. There's a gibbet here. We have a gallows here, and Hangman Jarvis wants to talk with us. He's happy we're still drawing breath. We're one of the lucky ones, and our life has been spared, so let's go on. And that's kind of all we know about it. So we are in the town of Devil's Crossing, and apparently I was possessed, taken with an ethereal spirit. The spirit seems to be gone, but that leaves all kinds of questions of, well, why was I possessed, and did that possession leave anything, any sort of lasting effects? So let's see, we're looking not too bad for someone who just came back from the brink of death. I was taken, capitalized T, so that's a thing. I was taken, like UFOs. Possessed by the same creatures that have been reanimating all these zombies. Okay, does that imply that I was actually dead before being possessed, or did something funny happen? Well, normally they'd have burned me with the rest, but I think because I was alive, they need someone expendable. Someone with nothing to lose but a lot to gain. Alright, so I need to prove myself. You have to go to a place called Burial Hill. Okay, I think we can do that. So, ooh, look, zombies. And immediately we just start bouncing into them. It's not genocide if it's zombies that you're trying to kill. Given that they seem to be the favorite enemy in just about every action RPG. I think with the exception of the Gas Powered did a action RPG years ago as well. They went on to produce a part 2 and a part 3 that never happened. For the life of me, I can't think of the name. But that was also an interesting system. There you fought mostly goblin-like things rather than undead. For a change. Okay, so combat is as you would expect. You find things, hover your mouse cursor over them, and keep hitting them until they stop moving. And because we are a brand new character, we don't have any other combat abilities. That's it for now. And that nice little explosion of particles indicated a level up. After these zombies are dead, let's dive into that. Because now we actually get to the real heart of the game. Well, besides all the loot, of course. So quickly, there's a bit of a lore note. You can read these things, you get XP for them, so it's always good to read them. And I think we got some better gear. Sweet. Okay, level up. So we can pick a class, any class. So our choices are a soldier, which is more or less a melee, sword and board, hit them until they stop moving kind of person. We have the demolitionist. There are people who like to see the world burn, and the demolitionist definitely is one of those people. The occultist summons all kinds of creepy shady stuff. This is going to be our secondary class. Then there's the Nightblade, cloaky, sneaky assassin with really cool art. Arcanist, it's your spellcaster, which is also really fun to play. And the Shaman, which is the latest addition to the game in terms of classes. This is a heavy-duty, let's wield two big two-handed weapons and go into melee type of summoner. So that's definitely what we're going to play. And as said, secondary character Occultist. In this game, you multi-class basically by default. You start by picking a primary class, so that will be the Shaman. And I think at level 8 or level 10, you unlock a second class. So that's going to be the Occultist. And both classes have summons. And if you know me, I have a weakness or a fondness, if you will, for summoner classes. So, let's see, we have, in this skill tree, you advance your character by adding more achievement points, and you can go up to 50. And every time this nice blue line passes a threshold, you unlock more skills. So you can have a choice between advancing your character and getting more different skills, or just putting more points into the skills that you already have, because this one you can level it up 16 times, this one as well. So you have interesting character build choices, and when you add a second class to it, you have two classes that you can choose how far to advance them. But the nice thing is, by advancing your core class, you get access to your primary stats, so that's physique, cunning and spirit. Physique deals with physical damage with melee, cunning is range damage, it's avoiding getting hit, and spirit is with mana and magical damage. And in addition to that, you got health and energy, which fill up your bars down here. Okay, and every time you level up, you also gain an attribute point. And the first couple of levels I'm going to invest heavily in physique, just so we can equip heavier duty weapons when we find them. Oh, and let's see, we got new skills, so you can just right click on any of the slots in the bottom to assign a skill. So Savagery is going to be our primary, and Devouring Swarm is going to be our secondary. So Savagery is a melee skill with charge levels. Let's see if we can find some enemies to demonstrate that. That's our left mouse button skill. Okay. Every time I hit the monsters, more swirlies appear around me. And I think there are 6 charge levels for those swirlies. Oh wait, we can go here. And I think this is a better weapon. Yep. Great. Bigger weapon, always good. Okay, these insectoids are the second faction in this game. So first faction, undead, or the ethereals, I think they're called, because they are possessed by stuff from the ether. But here, insects and zombies are fighting. It's not quite plants versus zombies, but it's getting close. So they are different factions, and they like and dislike each other in terms. I think there was actually a button somewhere that showed me all the different factions and the reputation I got with them as well. Might be on the character window. Let's have a quick look. It's not here. Faction window, J. So there's the ethereals, there's the Chthonians, things from the void. You got Devil's Crossing, that's the human faction. And I think later on in the game you actually encounter more factions that you can have reputations with. Also more, let's say, allied factions or human factions with different standings amongst each other. And there's a whole bounty system built into the game that actually sends you out to defeat powerful enemies of opposing factions. All kinds of goodness. I think this is blocked. Yeah, this is blocked. Okay, then let's find another way. There's something in here. And that was another level up. In the thrill of battle, the level ups are actually easy to miss. And the faintly glowing icons all the way on the bottom of the screen don't help either. Okay, I keep using the right mouse button skill. That's the devouring swarm. That's like here, have some bugs. That it starts degenerating the enemies, which is a nice thing. So we just leveled up, and there's an untouched meal here. Food is actually important. Most games you have a health bar and you drink potions to fill it back up, and if there's food somewhere, then food is basically just a very weak version of the health bar. And here you actually have two layers, because you got your health bar, that's the red thing, and there's this nice yellow sheen over it, which is your vitality. Well, I keep calling it vitality, I actually don't really know what it's called. And it's what is used by the game to regenerate your health out of combat. And once that's out, you no longer have out of combat health regen. That kicks in automatically. I'm actually just gonna leave the food here. And we'll just cross over. There's a book here. Books from the Inquisitor. See, read 1, read 2. That's free XP. Never complain about free XP. And a two-handed weapon. That's what I was looking for. Because that's what our class does. And basically it's the same weapon as that we found earlier. Okay, cool. We can cut up potatoes with this. So we are on our way to a dungeon that's should be around here somewhere. Let's see, a portal, a rift portal. We can use this to get back to town. But we, as a special person, can actually summon our own personal portals, which is a pretty cool and useful thing to do. So you can get out of places that you no longer want to be, and they make travel through the world pretty easy. It's a town portal of sorts, but it's a better town portal. Oh, and that's. So while you're in combat, health is not regenerating, and now that we're out of combat, the regeneration went up and you saw the yellow bar decrease a little bit. It's an interesting mechanic to balance a very strong regeneration. Or to prevent you from stocking up on potions and things. Too much.
My inventory is full.
We're full stuff. Let's take out these crystals here, since they are the source of all the undead. Yeah. So. Let's see, there's this auto sort button that sorts your inventory, which is pretty useful. Which is a feature I can appreciate. Okay, let's yeah, we can kill a couple more crystals, then quickly head back to town before we go into the dungeon. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Might actually have to level up a bit. And, Oh, actually spent my level up point, since I totally forgot about that while jammering on that stuff. Yeah, ew, have some flies. Upside, we're almost in the dungeon. That's down the path over there. Okay, skill points. Let's see, we leveled up twice in the intervening time. So at level 4 we gain access to Madrogan's Pact, which is a aura that we can equip. Let's see, Primal Strike, that's just a big splashy melee attack. This is a buff. This is an improvement for the base skill. So the round ones are passives, the square ones are active skills. We have Grasping Vines, which is pretty nice as well. And we have more stat points to spend, which we spend on physique, which helps our health regen and all kinds of goodness. So the Magdrogan's Pact, it increases our regeneration for health and energy. And it's at the cost of just reserving some energy, which is a nice way to balance it. Let's see, we're completely full, aren't we? Yeah, alright, let's head back to town so we can summon our own personal portal, which can take us anywhere we want. Which is nice, it's not just to town, it's anywhere. Let's sell some gear. So we've been getting a lot of guns rather than useful, more melee oriented items. Let's see, 18 armor, we got that. This is also worse. Let's see, is there anything nice for sale? I think we don't have enough money yet. So the currency is iron bits rather than gold, which seems useful since iron actually is a useful commodity, and especially in a post-apocalyptic zombie-infested world. It might be useful to make stuff. And I don't think we can afford anything fancy, and the basic items we will find. So let's get back into the slaying. So the setting is, as you figured out by now, post-apocalyptic zombie, a post-zombie apocalyptic world. There's firearms, there's all kinds of stuff. I haven't really encountered a lot more modern things than firearms. But it has an interesting mix of some level of technology with magic. And it doesn't seem to go as sci-fi as Hellgate London went. But it's definitely more sci-fi or more futuristic than a lot of the more classical fantasy action RPGs, which all have a medieval theme. Let's see, and here there's a guy with a star on the map, which is related to our quest. Nice thing about our right mouse attack, the swarm, is that it also heals a little bit. I do say a little bit. And that was the summoner. So we killed him, we got some scrap. Oh, there's a grand spoil here. That's very Titan quest-esque. We got some loot for defeating the boss. I think I might actually have missed that in previous playthroughs. Because it's a nice effect and it's easy to miss, because it's subtle, like a lot of things in this game. Which is nice, but it does call for slightly more attention than usual. So let's finish up by taking out these ether crystals in the dungeon here. Since they are actually related to another quest that I know we will be getting. That saves us some running up and down. And the crystals, they are also useful for crafting later on. So it's a good idea to just pick up crystals wherever you have the opportunity. gain a level. Let's go for these eyes first, while the zombies are degenerating. The swarm is pretty powerful. Enemies do seem to be dying by the droves as a result of about 3 casts of the swarm attack. Let's see how many of the they got 2 scrap. 5. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's head out. So we are back out in the overworld. Slightly off from where we started because we went underground. Let's get these bugs. And let's head back to town. Oh, more bugs. Stop shooting at me. I just want to go back to town. But I also don't want to leave loot behind, or potential loot. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's head back to town. That's going to be Devil's Crossing. Let's speak with Captain Bourbon. Killed the reanimator. Oh, whoa, this was the doing of a creature. That's disturbing. And they're thankful, and now we can actually walk around in town, which is awesome. So let's have a look to talk with Kasparov, who is located here. Just a bit of a mad scientist, and he wants to study the rift gates. And he wants to replicate my effects. So I'm gonna be a guinea pig. Let's see, crystals. Yes, I already found crystals. That's why I picked them up, since I knew this quest was coming up. And he's doing something with me, and yeah, all my fingers are still intact. That's good. And we got some bonus XP. And he lost his apprentice. So let's be a good hero and look for the apprentice. Let's see. In addition to that, Harmon here wants us to kill things because he's out on the quest for vengeance. And we have to exact that vengeance for him. Let's see, some things we got, all the things we got. Was actually slightly higher damage, but this one is even better, so that doesn't matter. So, loot, randomly generated. Typical action RPG. You have base items and then you got magical mods with prefixes and affixes. So searing is in this case the prefix, which gives us extra fire damage, and the alacrity gives us attack speed. I think the physical damage to fire damage conversion is also part of the searing item, so it actually scales off of weapon damage, which is a nice way to go. Okay.
See you around.
Let's have a look out for this mister over here, Barnabas, and he wants us to help find some metal bits to fix this windmill of his. And for that we need 5 bits of scrap, and we only have 2. So that's going to be a quest that will just continue on the way, because things randomly just drop scrap. It's nice and easy that way. Let's see, Kasparov wants us to find a apprentice beneath the Burwich estates, which is further up north. Barnabas with the water pump, that's also north. So that's we have to head back out into town. But I've been playing for long enough for a first episode. So I thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next episode. Bye bye.